Hey guys, I'm going to walk you through my 10-year plan on how I moved to Ghana. Now, for transparency and context, I am a Ghanaian, British-born Ghanaian. That inherently gives me advantages. I have family here, family I can stay with, so I wasn't doing so much of the painful renting aspect. Although we did explore it at some point and we just like, it's not worth it. I have some elements of the language I can get by, which is again another advantage, a major advantage. But ultimately, despite these advantages, I took my time and spent 10 years going back and forth in order to finally settle in Ghana. So let me talk you through my story. So I often came to Ghana every summer. I'd come with family and then later on in life with university friends, and we used to love it, enjoy ourselves, party, etc. As I got older and kind of life takes over and you're trying to establish yourself in the West, I had a period of 5 years where I didn't come to Ghana, which is the longest period I ever had. So that was from 2010 to 2015. And I remember when I came in 2015, I looked over the skyline because every time I'd come previously, when I look out the window, it was always very dark, very scarcely lit landscape. And when I came in 2015, it was different. It looked like a modern European city, at least around the airport. And I said, hold on a second, things are changing. And I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I could see the emerging hubs, the energy, the creative spaces, all of those things. And I said, no, I need to really be here. So from that day forward, I was constantly coming back every year, sometimes twice a year, just trying to establish what can I do here. You know, I had everything from a delivery app to things like, I'm really a keen combat sports enthusiast, really boxing enthusiast. So at one point I was going to do, I had an event called the Return Rumble that was actually supposed to be on the year return and actually was on the calendar, but when you try these things you realize how powerful existing players are, and it just didn't make any sense. So I kept coming back, trying new things, and one major step that I made towards trying to relocate was I took a 6-month sabbatical from my day job. And this was in 2019, late 2019, and I said to myself, I'm going to sit here and figure out what it is I'm going to do in this country. And by the end of it, or towards the end of it, that's when me and my wife found out what we were expecting. So that flipped things a completely different way. But I had been doing short-term Airbnb rentals or management of short-term Airbnb rentals for my elders, my uncles, my family members and stuff, because they were finding that they were getting longer and longer void periods in their rentals, especially kind of in down periods like outside of Christmas. So I helped them get extra income over time. And I thought that would be a great business model to move forward with. So I was actually settling on that business model, and COVID hit. And so I realized very quickly, because borders closed, I left just before the borders closed. I'm really thankful that I did, because otherwise I would have missed the birth of my son. And I would have got fired from my job because I didn't have my laptop with me. Borders closed, I'm supposed to be back in March. So I remember I literally got back the next week, I went back to work, and then 2 days later COVID hit. Now COVID hit and was, I think, the ultimate accelerator for my journey to Ghana, because all of a sudden I was working from home. I didn't have the commute. I didn't have all the extra busy work that came with being in the office. I started using 2 screens for the first time, so I optimized how I worked a lot better. And I built skills. Because of COVID, I realized, because I've lived through a few different major shocks, like I've lived through the financial crisis, and I realized that if you don't have skills that are so highly sought after, and you become just a number, you could get chopped. So I was actually that fueled me to learn new things. And in learning data analytics, and again, a center point was I wanted to be in Ghana. So I learned data analytics because I realized that was a skill set that was widely regarded and wanted across the board globally. So in learning those skill sets, it gave me better opportunities at work. And I thought potentially I could do some data analytics work remotely from Ghana and hard currency. So it's all part of focus and having a clear view that I'm going to move to Ghana, and I'm putting my chess pieces in place to take the key and be there, right? So through learning data analytics and testing different ideas with data, everything from farm yields to real estate, and I settled on real estate. And in settling on real estate, being able to build a prototype like I did, testing it, seeing people would pay for it, and then saying, okay, I'm going to build this fully. So that was around 2020, so I've kind of taken you through a 5-year journey. At this time, our son's growing and what have you. And what I did with my wife, we agreed that we want to be in Ghana, so we both have to have businesses or activities that keep us connected, right? So mine was Kuro. My wife started, and she's really like creative and creative genius in my opinion. Really started getting into interiors and design and what have you. And so she would find really interesting African art and then sell it online, and that has become a really good business as well. So we had these interfaces with the country all the time. So, and we kind of made a unspoken pact that we would go every year. And when our son came, we took him at 6 months, we took him at 18 months, we took him at 24 months, and we went at separate times as well, right, by ourselves or respectively. And each time, either I was going to do some marketing or she was going to get some stock. And so we had this ongoing connection, and not only was it ongoing connection, is we were slowly building our businesses that would keep us there. So lo and behold, over some time, with that remote work and with that space that COVID gave me to basically work on my startup whilst at work, that enabled us to really solidify our networks, suppliers, real estate people, some degree of influencers. That was really powerful, and it took a lot of time, right? This is from 2020 until now. So 2024 is when we basically first made the move, and we did that with a viewpoint of a 6-month trial to see how the kids would react. Because in the UK school system, once your child passes 5, you can't take them anywhere outside of term time to go anywhere. And we knew our son was turning 5 the next year. We knew that this was the only window we had to try Ghana and see how he reacted, and they reacted, our 2 boys. And so we did. They loved it. Over the moon, built loads of friends. I'm very happy. We loved it. We was all of a sudden shocked by how much headspace we had now. It wasn't just us in a house, managing the house on a day-to-day basis, me juggling, working remote, helping my wife. All of a sudden we had more support. It was game changer. So decided to make the move permanent, and we've not looked back since. There has been some bumps along the road, and what can I say? You know, we had a house help that was stealing at one point. We've had suppliers be unreliable for my wife's business. I've had to retest the business model around Kuro, explore pivots, B2B pivots, all those kind of things. But it's naturally part of the growth and personal growth in doing these things. And so we've got here, and some of the key elements that enable us to stay here is there are some assets that are working well for us in the UK that give us an income, and we obviously took the time to save emergency plus funds, so that when we're doing what we're doing, we know we have a timeline to review and those kind of things. Nothing has to be permanent, but we are betting on ourselves to make it a permanent move. So that would have what I'd say. So yeah, that takes you through our whole journey really of how we planned it, planned the move. If you've got any questions or you want like any further detail, just pop it in the comments below. I'll reply to all comments, and we can keep the conversation going. So my main advice would be plan and well. I built Kuro as a planning tool for assessing the market, etc. You can try it for free, and yeah, understand where pain points are and what value looks like, and make calculated decisions. Don't be rash, don't be emotional, take your time, because Africa's not going anywhere, but it's certainly changing very quickly. So yeah, that's my 10-year breakdown. I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah. So that's my 10-year breakdown. Let me know how you think about it. How are you planning your return or migration? What's your timelines? Do you want to ask me anything about mine? Happy to do so. All right, until next time.